Have fun in this game. Let's try e4. Have fun in this game. Waiting on Dylan to move. Ani. Oh, this one's gonna kill me. Fisher random. You had to do that. What's unprotected? Anything? Nothing. Let's start with this. My rook will be happy if the pawn makes a capture. Okay. Have fun in this one. Let's try d4. And this one right here. Have fun. Let's try e4. Okay. We are rolling. And let's get some center. Let's not declare any pawns just yet. Stay flexible. No move here yet. Benoni. Benoni land, maybe Benko Gambit land. Alright, let's get another center. And let's see. Knight c3. Why not? Let's get developed. Let's do this. Maybe we could enter some Nimzo or Bogo Indian, and I can't devote a lot of time to this game. To this opening. This Fisher random stuff. There's not going to be better square for that knight. Knight c3 or c4. I'm going knight c3. Knight c3. I already played knight c3. I'm actually battling a sixth opponent here, for those of you, many of you might not know. But if you crank up that volume, there is a sixth opponent. Who is that sixth opponent? If I lose games, at least I'll have a fantastic alibi. Fantastic excuse, I should say. Bishop b4, Bogo land. That sixth opponent is called Beagle. The Beagle. Most relentless dog ever. Okay, we're... Am I playing against like Darren Brown or something? Who knows what I'm talking? I think there's two games that are identical here. Now, that wouldn't quite work, would it? Who saw that video? Darren Brown running around beating everybody. Not everybody, but that 9-player type of thing. Check it out on YouTube. Darren Brown chess. You'll know what you'll see what I'm talking about if you haven't seen it already. e4. I don't see why not. Nothing here yet. Nothing. Something. Whew. Queen e7. Why not? I think she wants to be here anyhow. Eventually, after these guys are exchanged, I'll do d6, e5. Okay, so far it is the copycat game. Copycat land. Maybe I could do this. b5. So my queen could breathe and my knight could play here and put more pressure on this pawn. I might like that. I could castle. After the knight's move, both of us could castle kingside. Drop the king on the rook. And it just happens like that. Let's go for this. No, hang on. Pawn push takes, queen takes. My rook is unprotected. d5 could be played. I think that's annoying. Let's change it up. Let's get in d4 instead. Okay. So now, the plan is going to be to throw in this check. Let's stop knight g4 stuff. I don't know how. Look, it's like the same thing. When is that game? When are those two games going to deviate? Okay. Nothing here. Something here. Ooh. Well, I could do similar. What I was talking about, pawn takes, queen takes, and then do this push. Or maybe the push right away. No. Pawn push takes... Hmm? Hang on. Pawn push... Pawn takes, queen takes, pawn push, or just pawn push right away? Pawn push takes, pawn takes. I don't like that. Let's do this. Try and exploit that pin eventually. Okay, that move is I'm pretty sure I have to follow up with this now, as otherwise a6, b5, and I have very little room to breathe. Queen d2, same story over here, maybe. They're on the move though. Okay, now I think I go forward with. I'm gonna take and then follow up with knight e4. I want to make sure I get their dark square bishop back. So, pawn push in the center, exploit this pin somehow. Free up my dark square bishop. I have this covered. If pawn push, I don't have to react to the threat on my knight just yet. And now what do you do here? Knight here. Notice how with the knight playing here, I don't have to worry about what exactly. I don't have to worry about bishop pins. This knight's going to have to first move. I want to be cautious about allowing black to get rid of their light square bishop. He usually has a difficult time doing something constructive from this opening. So knight f3, they'll probably just castle. I'll castle. If knight e5 I take, I could get bishop h6 in with tempo. Maybe I could then insert h3 and stop bishop g4. Am I actually am I getting too carried away? Am I thinking too long term? What am I trying to say? Yeah, let's just go with this. Okay, to keep the tension or not? Pawn takes. Take the queens off the board. Maybe he turns out to be a not so great piece. Pawn takes, queen takes, rook takes, bishop c4. Or just castle, and then I'm threatening pawn takes. No, hang on. Castles, pawn takes, bishop takes, knight c6 with tempo. I don't want to allow that. Knight e2. Knight e2. If pawn takes, knight takes. But they maybe d5 is good somehow. Should I play d5 myself? Not sure. I'm very tempted to just play pawn takes, pawn takes. Knight e2, pawn takes, or queenside castle. Knight e2, pawn takes, knight takes d5. Would d5 really be played? Yeah, I actually am maybe a little scared of that d5 move. My opponent's already castled. Do I really want to go kingside or queenside? Let's take queen d2. I might be asked the same question here, so let's post that knight up right there. Okay, so what's the big story here? Pawn push. He's unprotected. Oh, you know what's maybe threatened? Pawn push, rook here gets out of the pin, and then when my knight is threatened, and when he moves, then b2 falls. Maybe knight, yeah, knight here. Let's do that. Get the sniper here on d8. No thank you to that. Well, tell you what I'm gonna do. Pawn push. Things are gonna get real dangerous soon. Let me just castle. Maybe they go after a pawn. I could defend though, I think. Let me castle. I don't see a reason not to. Queenside castle. Let me do this. I think I'll take with the... I'm pretty sure I take with the bishop, but we'll just see. We're still entering the same thing here. What's going on? Alright, let's change it up. I don't want to go down the same road. Alright, I'm going to take here, because now there's no imbalance with regard to the minor pieces, and we just have a structural issue for my opponent. Rook e1? Yeah, if my bishop is kicked, I could drop back to f1 now. Nothing here. Something here. Okay, so d6, e5. This is the structure I want to get in. So let's do that. I think that's more important. Establishing a pawn, making sure I could establish a pawn on e5 before castling. In one of the earliest videos I posted to YouTube, I referenced the line, castle if you have to or must, but not just because you can. My king isn't in any danger in this type of position. I'm just a moment away from castling. I think there's other things that take precedence, and in that case, I believe it's, again, that pawn getting to e5, making sure I can get a pawn to e5. So what do we do here? This knight is quite annoying, but you know what? This idea of a6, if the bishop is kicked, when the bishop drops back, if I move my knight away and then play c3, he's running out of squares. So what am I getting at? Anything at all? h3, do I wait to be provoked? I don't see any reason to run away. h3, flight square. Seems purposeful. Yeah. Flight square. That knight's not bothering me. Is he going to converge on c2? Okay. Prepping b5 stuff. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want my opponent to grab space. So I'm looking to come at my opponent pretty hard in this game. And by that I mean g4, h4, h5, queenside castle stuff, but maybe I don't show my hand just yet. Maybe I get my knight here, or do I play bishop c4 first to anticipate the c6 break? Could be playing g4 to prevent this break. These are the two breaks my black has, f5 and c6, so I want to maybe address those. I'm not sure which one I should be devoting more attention to. Bishop c4, knight e2, or knight e2 right away? Knight e2 with knight g3 stuff to eventually get this move in. Or maybe I don't even need to do that. Maybe I could just sack the h-pawn. Oh, these decisions. Oh, these decisions. Okay, let's... No, I'm going to hold on. Maybe I still go kingside. Okay, that tricky knight is defending the rook, so now pawn takes knight is threatened. Stopping bishop from guarding here. I could play knight here. I don't know how great that is, though. Alright, gotta run away. Gotta move quick. Okay. So now maybe bishop f4, queen d2. Bishop g5 or f4 are my candidates. Do I want to provoke h6? Any reason to do that? Bishop g5, h6. Bishop f4, maybe g5, g4 starts to become annoying. Let me just go to f4. I think that is best. If there's maybe some pawn break, e6 I have to be a bit careful about. Right there, huh? Eyes this square. Let's get my last piece involved. Watches over that square. And now e5. Been talking about this. Let me swing the bat completely around. Yeah, okay. I think I need to break this center down. Maybe I have a slight lead in development, and so I should be more welcome to exchanges. I'm going to go with my gut on that one. So now that, interesting. Okay, so bishop b7 and then break at this point. Queen d2. Get my other rook involved. Connect my rooks. Potential bishop h6. Knight there. Tricky. Castle kingside, queen exchange, knight grabs here. This guy is a pest. However, is there something with this? Bishop here, queen takes, king takes, rook comes here, gets out of the way of the bishop with check, and then the knight reacts. Maybe I'm okay with that. No, there might be bishop h6 stuff as well. Okay, how are we doing with the time? Knight here, knight takes, bishop takes. I really don't like that. Could I really just queenside castle? Maybe rook here, rook to d1. See, kingside castle, stuff like b5 just to sack a pawn to open up the a file scares me. Time is a ticking in all these games. Whew. What to do here? What to do? This knight is a pest. Gotta say, he is definitely a pest. Bishop here. Queen takes, king takes, rook check, king here, bishop check. I think I'm still gonna go for that. Oh, the bishop gives check first. Bishop here, queen takes, king takes, bishop check before rook check. That's a big difference. If I block with my bishop, then comes check. Oh man, I need to make a move. I need to make a move. Why am I not making a move? I don't know what to do. That's why. Rook here. Oh, let me just go with that. As ugly as it looks, I gotta make a move. Okay. Alrighty. Alright. Let's do that. c5. Knight c6 here to pile up on this pawn. I think I like that. Castle first. Knight here, pawn push. Knight here, I think pawn push is available. If I take, there's queen check, and my knight is lost. I want to get to this square without white having any tactics on b5. Pawn push here. No, I don't need pawn on c5, I don't think. Although, wait. Is pawn push being threatened? If I take, knight takes pawn. c5, knight here. Let me just castle. Not sure what to do. Okay. Bishop here opposite the queen. They can't feel so comfortable then, can they? Bishop here, knight here. Ugh. Pawn push. It's gonna get crazy. Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, I could get this, but at the end the knight gets this pawn. Okay. Bishop takes, bishop takes. I might still go for it. Bishop takes, bishop takes. Bishop takes if knight takes. I take first this bishop, and then the knight. So bishop takes, queen takes, knight takes pawn, knight g5. The knight takes one of the rooks. Then I play e5. And then after pawn takes, I play knight e4, removing the defender of h7 with check potentially. I think this actually works. I think I could get away with taking here. And I think I might want to go for it. Bishop takes, bishop, last try. Bishop takes, queen takes, knight takes c2, allowing a fork. Knight g5, this knight is pinned. Can't move. Shouldn't move. If one of my rooks are taken, takes, knight g5. My idea is I could get in this move. I could get in this move. Even if this, I take first. And then I push, attacking the knight. And then I play here. I'm going to go for it. Hopefully that time invested is going to work out. So, what to do now? Let's throw my h-pawn down, I guess. Stops queen h4. Or no, I don't know how fearful I would be of queen h4. Nothing here, they castled. I'm very tempted to push here. This knight around. However, maybe I should do e5 and then this. Pawn push? Where does this knight eventually go? 15 minutes remaining. Let's see. Can I get an attack against their king? Bishop here is what I had intended, but knight there would have been annoying, but now maybe it is available with b3 to follow. No, I don't want to allow this knight that square. Maybe I should do this first. There we go. Alright, pretty much locked into that. Queen there. Potential structural change. Now that's interesting. Alright, I'm going to go for this and then take out this knight, hopefully. This game, I don't have many moves there. And now, let's get my knight out. I got to get some time in here. Okay, I knew that was coming. Hopefully that works out. So bishop g5, remove the knight and jump in here is the plan. Or is there something with pawn push? Or maybe there's something with just moving my knight and then getting in c3. This knight is a giant pest, let me tell you. A giant pest. Maybe g4 with this to kick the knight, and then I jump in. Then I didn't give up my dark square bishop. So pawn push h6, h4, and then I'll be able to get this in, kick the knight away from d5. I think I'm liking that better than giving up my very valuable dark square bishop. Let's try that. g4. Okay. I think it's purposeful to get my king here so I can get to c1 with my knight. My knight's kicked. This is where I want to be. b6, bishop a6. Queen drops back. Not sure for what reason. Oh, okay, I guess maybe bishop here. Pawn push seems too correct not to do. Looking for an attack against their king. Okay, that is a move that is interesting. Oh man. If I take, then this square is repaired. Not working out as planned. Well, there's going to be an issue on this square, isn't there? I don't have a better square for my bishop. Let me just go with that. And I think, what next? Okay, that knight is not bothering me just yet. There, let's get this in. Trying to target c4 in that game. 11 minutes. Okay, castle kingside. King g2, it'll babysit this pawn eventually. Nothing here, nothing here. Something here. Okay, so this. Now, I'm going to change gears. My knight could also go to b7, c5. Let me shift gears and go in this direction. I'd love to exchange my bishop for their knight and then get my knight on c5. Good knight versus bad bishop situation. If pawn takes, do I take with my knight, bishop, or queen? My first thought is my knight, because then that seems like a good square. It's probably best to take with the knight. Let me do that as a pre-move. Nothing here just yet. I'm actually happy to see my opponent thinking in that one, because maybe they didn't see that there's potential trouble now for their king. The eventual e5. And rook f, okay, I don't have to invest king d1. There's not going to be pressure on this. So rook here, pawn push. Should kick this knight right now, I think. Yeah, let me see where he goes. And get rid of that knight. Maybe I give up my light square bishop for that knight. Okay, this square is unprotected. I have to be cautious of that. Pawn push is my thought, actually. This pawn is a giant thorn. It's gotta be. It's gotta be a giant thorn. Let's go for that. Seems incredibly cramping to establish a pawn right there. No moves just yet in all these games. My lowest time is, okay, I want to get my queen here. How can I make that work? That would come very fast, actually. Oh, if I move my knight, my bishop is hitting this guy. I should just get rid of him. Get rid of the defenders that are close to the king side. Knight here. I just want to get my queen here and it'll be mate. Okay. Rook here. I don't like having to babysit this pawn. Okay. Let me put some more pressure on my opponent. That pawn is unprotected. Whoa, are you serious? There's not going to be an attack here, really? Pawn takes, knight here. I have enough defense. He's not going to be an attacker. He's not going to be an attacker. He's not going to be. If there's anything, there's a rook and maybe a queen. But it's just too far off. Pawn takes, knight here. I have too many defenders to not take this. I don't think that is a correct sacrifice to be going forward with. But we will see. We're going to see about that. Keep the tension or not? This bishop turns out to be not so great piece. I'm going to wait. Let's see what decision my opponent makes. Let's take that guy out. Okay, I did anticipate that. I believe I could still take and then get this move in. To follow through with my idea. I think I've calculated correctly. Okay, so now this is back on. But now maybe I could be annoying with bishop here. And then rook here. If the knight moves, the rook would be unprotected. Maybe there's some tactics. Actually, he's unprotected now. So, maybe I have bishop here. Yes, okay, as soon as there's a knight here, there's a disconnect between the rooks, so bishop c5 is available, hitting both knight and pawn. He's unprotected, one attacker, one defender. He's no attackers, no defenders. Bishop here, exploiting the pin. And if this pawn falls, then it's going to be game over, I'm pretty sure. Bishop here. Knight c6 will probably be best. Bishop here right away, I'm pretty sure. Gotta go for it. Okay, my knight is kicked. Queen and knight are on that pawn. I'm avoiding that exchange. I want to try and kick the knight. I believe a4 will become a necessity. And now, again, rook here. Knight here might be tempting. Maybe it's good. There might be some sacrifices on this. Bishop and queen could be on this. Actually, yeah, knight there wouldn't be so great. This, I'm doing to clear c1. Okay, now I believe I do this. Oh, they have lateral defense. Interesting. Oh, you know what? I could get out of this fork after push. If pawn takes, I could play rook here with tempo on the queen. Is bishop c6 worthwhile? Wait a second, I could take this pawn with check. Is that worthwhile? I like push right away. Maybe then I have rook up and over. Ooh, there's two squares that are cleared for e4. This is too good not to do. Too good not to do, I'm pretty sure, is the e5 move. Okay, oh, that knight is just dead. It's a drop piece. And take with my knight. Take with the knight. Pawn push. Let's induce a4. a4 could become a target now for my bishop later on. Nothing here yet. And just drop back. 6 minutes only in this game. I don't want to give up my dark square bishop that easily. My opponent keeps moving very fast in that game. Okay, knight here was my plan. With knight takes check, however, that won't be made anymore, but queen check and then rook here I think is actually going to be game. Rook here. Rook here first, save the rook. No, check first, I think. Yeah, let me take this pawn with check. They only have one move. Knight here, is that going to be annoying? Have this guy covered. Okay, they did capture and they're following up with this. Take. Let's open stuff up. Okay, that knight's going to get kicked. My knight is going to be a monster on c5 now. And it feels like there should be a win very soon here. There's no way to challenge my queen just yet. Rook here, it's a mate in 2. I could give this fork. I like this move first. Rook here, hit the queen, and then I could take the pawn. I'm not even down any material at this point. But I have an attack. Rook here is available. No, this is just winning right away. What am I talking about? Rook here right away is winning. Rook to e4, rook up and over. The knight can't capture because of on h7. Rook e4, and I think this game is over. Rook e4, these guys are out of play, he's out of play. If anything can defend, it's the rook or the queen, but I don't believe it's available to defend. Rook e4, and I think that's it. I'm on h7. Nothing in this game. Something here. I could play here. Let's throw in a check first. Okay, and now actually I'm going to play it very slow because there's absolutely nothing for my opponent to do now. Okay, the plan here is to actually kick the queen off of the 6th rank first because I don't want there to eventually be a sacrifice on this square. I'm looking at queen c1 to g7. Okay, they ran away. I just want to do pawn push. I don't want too many files to open up. Yeah, just pawn push. And there, knight there. Okay, jump in there. There's not a better square. Now queen c1 was what I was talking about. Queen c1. Nothing here just yet. I'm pretty sure black is busted in that game. Open up. Oh. When I take with my knight, I'm defending my bishop. Knight here. I'm on the rook, offering a queen exchange. I have this move. There's a check on h2. Alright, let's go. Going after their king. g4 is the next pawn break I want to get in. And just knight takes pawn. Yeah, knight takes pawn. I'm on this a third time now. There. I'm on the rook. I'm also threatening to just give up 2 rooks for the queen. Where are we at next? Everybody's thinking still. On the rook. Still. Movement here. Okay, bishop here boxes out the knight. I don't need to do that. Let me do pawn push. Stop that advance. 5 minutes is the lowest amount of time I have in all these games. Okay. Okay. Alright, let's give this up, and at the end of it I take the rook, the light square bishop, and then I promote. Rook is gone. Still have that pawn around. Oh, the queen's playing there. Okay. Okay, first, I'm going to prevent that sacrifice. I want to get there. I can't be stopped from getting to h6. Okay, my opponent resigned in this one. Good game, Waylag. Let's close out. Okay, I could promote first. This is leading to mate, actually. And let's get my king off of that file, since the g4 break will mean that that file opens up. What more? Movement here. Okay, more pressure on this, but now I could take out that knight first. Take out this knight. I want queen to h5, h6 come with a much greater effect. I want her to be able to land there and there to be no sacrifice on f6 to avoid mate. I'm pretty sure I just take this knight out because I don't want to babysit this pawn. And my knight is still a monster. Although I might want him around to facilitate g4. Maybe I could try and show that this knight is simply out of play. And I could be defending this pawn laterally. Where's he going from here? Would I really be inconvenienced by having a piece watching over this? Maybe for right now, I do this. I could always just take. I'd much rather not, though. I like my bishop pointing at the king. I'm gonna do this, I think, and if knight here to attack my rook, then I move, and if the knight comes back, then I drop back here, and I'm better coordinated. Let me just do this. I really don't like devoting a rook to the defense of a pawn, but I believe I'm doing it with a good reason. Let's take out the knight first. Oh, my opponent resigned. For a second, I thought, good game. For a second, I thought that I ran out of time. Okay, good game. 3 games remain. And that was the one that I was down on time with, more than any other. So now there's this, which is now unavoidable. Queen h6. We'll be having mate soon. And that one. And then there's these two. Okay. Either one is good. I'm going to go with this. And then this is unavoidable. Next. Okay, my opponent resigned. Good game, Ani. Last 2. I'm up a piece in this one, and I'm pretty sure I have a strong attack in this one. Good knight versus this bishop. He's having a tough time doing something constructive. Okay, this pawn is being hit. This rook is the one that's... He's doing some... This rook is doing something. This rook isn't. So I think I go with this rook, not to overload this one by playing to d3. Is there something more direct? Knight here, maybe. No, I don't want to have to calculate. Let me just meet my opponent's threats. What more? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have actually a minor piece and a pawn in this one. This one is equal material-wise, but the relative value of pieces. I have a space advantage on the king's side. Again, this knight is a monster. Alright, let's get my rook working. Rook here. Potential h6 stuff. Double on the g file and push. But not just yet, actually. I still have to do something about this. Maybe I could move my bishop around first. Rook g7, maybe. Oh, boy. Okay. What's going on in this game? So, potential structural change. Okay, now with this, maybe I could take first. Then take this knight. And then rook here. Not sure what I want to do there. Critical decisions. Oh, you know what? I could pile up on this file still. Because I haven't moved this pawn, I could do this stuff. I'm actually reminded of the NES game Solomon's Key quite a bit from this position. That video I uploaded, where if this pawn was here, I wouldn't have any inroads in this direction, but I could actually still triple somehow. I could put pressure on this pawn, and then maybe get in this break. I'm going to take this knight out. Or do I take here? I'm still torn. Pawn takes, rook stuff here against my king, maybe. Pawn takes, pawn push. Yeah, I'm gonna try this. So the structure is going to stay like that. Let's take him out. Maybe I should have considered a pawn capture first. Not sure. I don't think it really matters a whole lot in this one. Okay, knight here. I'm going to be picking up the rook. Hit this rook, and he can't move and defend this pawn. So that means knight here, grab a pawn, and then the rook. I'll be up a full rook in that one soon. Maybe a pawn or two. Minutes for Dylan in this one. I want to plant my rook right here, and I actually could have all day to like run my king in this direction if I really wanted to. I want to maybe be able to play on this side of the board. My opponent has to be cautious of this move. And that could be quite annoying. I take this knight out. No, I still like maybe some potential sacks on that square. Let's get my rook right here. Plant my rook right here, and he cannot be dislodged. And I'm putting more pressure on this, which means that there could be some sacrifices on g4 with knight takes here to follow. Things of that nature. Okay. I could... a couple ways to take. I'm going to take like this. This rook is pinned. Okay, and now before h4 is even played, let me stop that. I want to maintain control over what? Let me just give some material back. Give some material back and then start pushing my pawns. They're both passed. This one I'll get rolling. If the knight comes here, I think I just either one, d2, d2, d1. Less than 3. Again, there is a 10-second increment. We have a move in this one, and now well, I'm going to push this, and when the knight moves, now I could stop this rook from becoming active on the A file. Nothing here just yet. It's a difficult position white is in. 6 minutes for my opponent in this one. Okay, this rook is not playing. Could still open up the position with this break. Not if I capture the knight, however. So that said, maybe there's something with c6, bishop takes, and only then capture, and then I would have play against this pawn. And if this pawn ever moves, I could play knight here to d4, a more central location, which has to inconvenience this king a great deal. Do I really try and get my other rook here? I don't know about that. I think I want to play on the other side of the board. Pawn push. Maybe I should follow through with that plan. Pawn push, pawn takes, pawn, bishop takes. Oh, you know what? I'm going to still hold off. Let me get my king a bit closer to the center. And now I'm going to pin this knight and then look to push. Just looking to restrict my opponent's pieces. I don't want them to become active. There's less to calculate. I'm pretty sure I do this no matter what. Knight here, rook here is probably best, so that the knight could move and be defending the rook. To move the knight to the same color square. To move the rook to the same color square as the knight. Time is a big issue in this game. Rook on c to h8 and then this pawn push. Okay. Maybe I should do this first. No. Just keep marching. Okay, bishop there. If I could capture this pawn and have my opponent and force my opponent to have to capture with the f pawn, that means this guy becomes a dynamic strength. A strength dynamically. Pawn pushes are available. And I think I could force that because he's going to be unprotected soon. If I throw my queen on h8, h5, and then takes, you wouldn't be able to take with this pawn. I'm going to try that. Let me do it. Let me pivot here. There might be something against this knight if the bishop goes after that diagonal. So now, it's just the cleanest approach. I believe just attack the knight. 1 minute warning for my opponent in this one. Less than 5 here. Okay. Get my king more central, actually. There's actually no rush. No rush in this game. Small improvements. My rook is hit. Counterattack. And then I could give check and pick off this pawn. Actually, giving check forces the king on the back rank. So that's a positive. 50 seconds. Okay. Okay, you know what? Yeah, still three opponents here. That dog. Okay, my opponent resigned in this game. Good game in this one. Let's close out. Okay, last game. Let me focus here. Ignore that dog. Absolutely no control over that. Oh man. Watch out for that dog. That relentless beagle. H5, not so fast. Alright, here's the plan. Take him out. I think I have a good plan here. I'm gonna do this because one day I might want to be able to what am I trying to say? I might want to target this pawn with knight here to here. So I vacate this square for my knight. He cannot be kicked. He's a beast, this guy. There's no breaks. There's no successful breaks for my opponent. So let me just make a move. My plan is going to actually be what? Get my king over here. Okay. He could be a target with rook here. I could sneak into this square. Play on both sides of the board. I think I want to get my king here before I make any decisions. No. I think the plan is going to be get my queen on h7, my rook on h7, my queen on h8, and then play this h5 move. No, pawn push right now. Because, yeah, right now I do the pawn push. Because again, if I could force f takes, then I have obtained something more with this pawn having some movement. And right now that's what I'm threatening. Pawn takes. And my knight, you know what? He could, okay, so now I've obtained something. Let me take here. So now this is going to play a role in the attack at some point. So he's going to stay put. There's not a better square for this rook. Pinning the pawn, pressure on g4. How can I make headway in this direction? Rook up, queen here in this direction. Queen here would be threatening nothing. Queen here, I have pressure on this. Queen on h7 would be putting pressure on this pawn, this. Or there'd be tricks with capturing like this, I should say. This queen can't go too far because of forks. Could I get my rook on b2? That's a pivot point. How do I break this down? I could just sack this pawn and then maybe throw a knight here. Could I get my knight there? d7, f8, g6, and then here. Maybe my knight is the one who belongs here. Let me just do stuff that's solid. Everything is on dark squares, isn't it? Everything is on dark squares. Maybe I think my knight will be the one who is more annoying on h4 than my rook. Yes, I do believe so. You just watch over this. Actually, is that gonna fall? Oh man. Let's see. Maybe I don't want to allow this pawn to even fall. My opponent might be threatening to win that with rook here and then queen c1. Let me watch over that. I don't think there's any rush just yet. I said that there's not a better spot for my rook, but maybe I was wrong with saying that. Rook h8 to a8, and then get my knight here. There might be this. Let's drop back. One has to be quite careful about that, though. Let's see, so now I'm babysitting a pawn. But my knight is the one who wants to now reposition. Oh, I could have taken this pawn. Although, you know what? I have to be careful about opening up this diagonal towards my king. I should have at least considered it. I am on this pawn, though. Okay, so they've released some pressure. Knight here. Time to reposition with my knight. Here we go. I'm going to throw him in the corner and then to get to g6. Or no. I could get there faster. Knight f8 to here. And he'll be facilitating this advance. My knight right here. And then my opponent has to watch out, has to babysit this bishop. So my knight belongs there. Where can I go with my king? Where's a better position for my king? I think what I want to do... Okay, their bishop is stuck. Where does my king want to be? If I move this pawn, I drop this. Does my king want to be over here to watch over this? My opponent's offering a draw. I don't want one. Rook a4, queen a5. Let me do that first. My queen being able to invade along this diagonal puts more restrictions on the white pieces. Alright. My queen is looking to now sneak in. And what more? Rook here to here. If I do this, if I get the 2 rooks for the queen, there's going to be mating nets against this king for sure. This knight and pawn are very menacing. Less than 40 for my opponent, who's been playing quite a bit now on increment. Not an easy thing to do, but so far, I think been putting up a good defense. I did have, again, that opportunity to capture there. So I can't, well, I could play queen here. To here. Oh, this is a good spot. She's watching over this pawn. I can get my queen here. She's doing much better on this square. Possibilities to get here. You know, I want my king on b7 before I go any further. Just in case the position, there's some sacrifices here or something. I don't want this rook to have some entry point on a8 or a7 to either attack this pawn or look to swing over to get this point. So king c8 to here. No, I could do queen check. I don't think there's any rush. Let me get my king on b7 and then I will have optimized all my pieces. King here, and now I'm ready to do something hopefully dangerous. Queen here. I could look to triple up on this pawn, actually. Checks on this square. I'm threatening a mate in 2, actually, with queen f2. And maybe I could do a waiting move. It's easy to slip up for white. Not an easy move to be finding here. I think the rook has to move. My opponent's almost paralyzed. Okay, so that releases some pressure on this pawn, which means I could play rook here to here next. Rook here first. Threatening a skewer, or a pin. And I can look to triple up here. So rook here has to be met with my opponent interposing. Rook to b2. Pawn push with tempo could be there. Rook here, rook here. Rook to b2. Yeah, let's do this. Piling up on c4. These are like the only squares I had to work with, but I could still sneak into the white position by way of a4. It was made possible because of this pawn pushing earlier when my knight was still on c5. So, oh, you know what I had? Rook takes pawn. This queen was pinning the rook. I think this should still be good though. b2. Rook has to block. I play here. If this rook ever captures my pawn, I take on c2 and then I take on c4 and get to c2. We might end up seeing something like this soon if rook takes pawn. My king is here to prevent the rook from doing anything here just yet. My only fear is if there could be a rook on a3 and a queen on a4, but I don't think that would be coming in time. Queen here threatens queen takes rook. I want to try and force this rook to capture mine so I could create a passed pawn. So let me put pressure on this point. I'm going to keep him sitting. Get a little bit more central with my queen. And again, still under a minute. It's been that way for a while now for white. So if the bishop comes back to defend the queen so that I don't have this tactic available, then this starts to come to mind. This f3 advance. Less than 15. Easy to go wrong here. Queen takes rook is the threat. And if rook takes queen, rook takes queen. So there it is. The bishop is back to defend the queen. Maybe I could still go forward with this. I think it's actually still good. Queen takes rook. Queen takes rook. Rook takes. Rook takes queen. And then follow up with rook to b2. And the bishop is in a pin and it cannot be defended. I could still go forward with this. So that's an even trade and then follow up with the pin. Pretty sure that's going to be resign time. There's no counterplay with the rook getting in here at the end of it. And this pawn will be very fast. Less than 10. He's pinned. I don't have to take him. I could attack him actually. No, let's not get fancy. Just get some pawns. Get him and then these two guys can march. Okay. Good game, Dylan. let me close out. Not just yet. Thank you to all 5 of you who played, namely Shinigami, Eyes, Dylan, 2009, Ani, Busho, Waylag, and Sokolovic. Thank you for the games. I always enjoy doing the simuls, so thanks for taking part in that.